Hello YouTube, this is YW-2412 and today we have the review of the Metal Souls Tiger Tank Robot, or YW-2412. Now, once again, these are one of those original Chinese products or Chinese design mechs that don't really have a actual name as well. Granted, depending on which promo picture you saw, depending on who advertised it, they might have had some sort of names, because I have seen a few, but once again, none of those names were actually mentioned in the box. The only box mentions the company name Metal Souls, or brand, depending on how you look at it, and then Tiger, and then YW-2412. Now this I can't read, I'm Korean, now these are Chinese characters, which if I did study harder, I may have, remember what these mean, but oh well. Anyway, so yeah, this is not a Transformers character. I would like to mention this or emphasize this. So a lot of people think like, oh, if it's a transforming robot, it's automatically Transformers. That's not the case. China has been making a lot of their original design mechs that, transforming robots basically. So they have nothing to do with the overall story or like timeline of Transformers. These are their original designs. And this, I believe, there is another variant of this where it transforms into one of those gigantic tanks that goes on the railroads or train tracks. Yeah, I believe this is the same guy who designed it. I'm not sure about the company, but I believe it's the same style. Alright, so here we have the box, and then if you look at the back, it shows all the basic details that you need to know, that it transforms a tank to robot, and we have a few effect parts, yada yada. Now I had this for about 1 or 2 weeks. I can't remember when I received it, but it is pretty recent. And then after fiddling around with it, I was really happy about the product, the quality. Of course, there is one issue I have, and it doesn't really affect the transformation or anything. It's just that I just happened to notice this a little bit late on my copy. Alright, so before we go into the review, let's talk about components. First of all, what you get, of course, is obviously the main mech itself. Now, currently, I'm going to start off with the tank form, because obviously I did try to transform this a few times. And transforming process is it's pretty simple and easy. However, the tricky part or the difficult part is at the last step, where you have to like align everything and match everything that lines up. Now, that was the most tricky part, which actually took me multiple tries to get it right. So yeah. So you get the main mech, and then this is its tank form. Now, I assume because it's called Tiger, it's referring to the Tiger tank, which was a German tank, if I understood correctly. So yeah, so we have the tank here. We do get some just stickers as well. So if you want to go with these, go nuts. But yeah, we have 332 SL4 213 007 217. I'm not sure what these numbers refer to, but I'm pretty sure those military experts or history experts will know what these mean. And we do get the instruction manual, a very nice comic book style manual. Now, I do like the artwork going on here. However, there is one slight issue of this, and it has been a while since I've seen one of these type of manuals, is that this is only a one-way instruction manual, meaning that it only shows you from robot to tank. It does not show from tank to robot at all. So yeah, you basically need to reverse what you did. And at the last page, we get some really nice images that looks realistic here as well, like these ones. So yeah, pretty cool. Alright, and other than that, it's pretty much their effect parts going on here. So number one, we have this part going here, so we can attach this to here. Actually, yeah, it is a little bit tight squeeze there, but you have a tank firing effect part. It looks really nice. I really gotta admit that that's a really cool looking effect part. Now we have these flaming parts, which is actually meant for this axe, which we will go into later. So one thing is that this is the tank barrel, so obviously this is supposed to transform into the axe. However, the promo pictures has shown that shown both of its equipment together, so who knows what goes first. And now here's the part which I won't be able to show. So at the front of the tank, you can see there is a small barrel. So this is supposed to be like a machine gun that's attached to the tank. However, at first I thought this was normal because it's supposed to be a short barrel. However, after like a few days, after maybe 2 weeks, I noticed that there was this small black piece that was inside the blister pack. Apparently mine broke off. So apparently I never noticed it until recently. There's supposed to be another extension of the barrel here. So yeah, and then on top of this, you're supposed to be able to apply this small blast effect part, but you know, because it's broken, I won't be able to do it. Now technically I can enlarge the hole and maybe force it in like that. I can technically force it in, but once again, it's not really necessary to force in stuff. And once again, I feel like the blast effect part seems a little bit too big for what it is. But anyway, yeah, so anybody who has ordered this or pre-ordered this, just make sure that this isn't broken or anything, because it took me a while to realize that. Alright, so let me just get this thing off, and yes, this is the way how it works. So you attach this to the outside of the barrel, and then this effect part goes inside the barrel. So kind of interesting way of doing things, but that's the way how it is. Alright, so now in Tank 4, there's not much to show. I mean, in terms of articulation, let me just say, you do have a little bit of rotation side to side. Now, 360, I can't say it's possible because design-wise, there are some parts blocking the way. I mean, I guess you could force it, but it's not really ideal as well. You can technically force it, or there is this part which can for some reason bend a little bit. You could just break these off and this specific design off, and then I guess it will open up for 360 twist, but oh well. And then the tank barrel or cannon moves a little bit up and down a little bit as well, so there is a little bit of room. And that's pretty much it. These tank treads are not meant to move. And then looking at the bottom, now it shows that, yeah, this is supposed to transform into a robot. But other than that, the tank form, it looks pretty clean. Other than the obvious lines here, it definitely doesn't show. It doesn't look like it's supposed to transform into anything as well. So pretty well done. Now this gap has been bugging me, but looking at the manual over and over, yeah, this is just the way how it's supposed to look like. So yeah. Alright, so we've seen the basics of the tank. I don't think there's anything else to show other than, I don't know, maybe this part that can open up but reveals nothing. And then this part does rotate. This is because this is for like the kind of part of the transformation that's required to move. So yeah. Alright, I'll be right back with the transformation in the mech form or robot form, because I am not jobbing the Hong. I am not good with like showing the transformation process. So yeah, I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. So here we have the robot mode. Now, once again, transforming it backwards, just basically you do the reverse thing on the instruction manual, isn't as difficult as you think. Of course, I think the only most complicated part would be the arms, I think, because the arms require a lot of folding, unfolding, and rotating certain parts, etc. So, if you can get over that part, I think you're good to go. So once again, I would like to mention a few things one more time. When you open the box, it's going to be in robot mode. So I guess I should have mentioned that earlier, but just wanted to point that out. And before I go into any articulation or details, here is next to a 1:1 44 scale Gunpla kit. So you can definitely say it's much taller than a typical 1:1 44 HG kit going on here. Maybe on par with a Master Grade, or it might be 1:100 scale Master Grade kit, or maybe slightly taller, depending on which kit you compare it to. But yeah. So once again, after seeing the promo pictures, I just told myself that is really cool. I want one, and I decided to pre-order one. Now the price wasn't as bad. It was less than $100, so maybe about $80-ish if I remember correctly, 80 to 70, give or take. And yeah, I'm really satisfied with my purchase going on here. So let's see what we got. So they were really going for the overall German officer design, but also giving it that extra, you know, evil or slash like zombie-ish face look going on here, and I think they nailed on that design aspect. So really loving the head sculpt going on here. Yeah, I think it would have been much more cool if you could open the mouth, but once again, I believe the other one I mentioned that transforms into a gigantic train tank thing, I think that one opens the mouth. This one doesn't, so yeah, but the head, once again, the eyes are everything is here, color, no stickers applied so far. So the eyes being like that blood red color or metallic red color, I think they did a really good job on that. So going down, not so much. Up, not so much. 360 is possible thanks to its ball jointed thing, ball jointed neck. However, as you just saw, I did kind of force it to go 360. That's just because certain armor parts are just colliding with each other. So once again, not exactly ideal, if you ask me. All right, so now let's look at the main body first before we go to the arms. So the body can rotate 360. That's always good to know. And then there is no bend as far as I can tell. Now technically there is a way to make this bend. However, it requires you to unhook and unlocking a few things, because you can see this part is supposed to be that part that separates it to give you an ab crunch, but not exactly an ab crunch, but it's supposed to give is supposed to unlock the body so it can go forward. Which is technically mostly for the transformation. The thing with these type of figures is that you can make the articulation work. However, it's not really supposed to be there. So I would like to point that out. So for now, I'm kind of forcing it. There's no joint that's supposed to move around here. Another thing is that, so you have this part here, which is the peg that connects the cannon / barrel here. So when I first got this out of the box, this was actually inside. So you rotate this and it goes inside. So if you don't like this peg, you can always do that. But I just put it out, A, because number one, in the manuals, they show it like this time to time. B, there is a way to attach the weapon on here as well. So which is why I'm leaving that out. And like I said, it was in robot form inside the box, which may be the reason, or pretty much explains why the barrel was broken, because you can see the extra machine gun barrel is supposed to be here, which is a pretty good position to be snapped off easily. But I'm not actually angry. Honestly, I prefer it being short like this. So yeah, I think everything works out. All right, now let's go look at the arms. So the arms are the most complicated part when it comes to transforming them. However, just in Robot More, I think it covers up all the basic stuff. So now, once again, not the ideal noise, but it is very stiff. All joints are very stiff, to the point where I might need to sand down a few things. But once again, most of the joints are in metal pieces, so I don't think you need to worry about them snapping off too easily. So 360 twist is possible, and thanks to the joints, you can go to the side 90 degrees, or if you want, you can kind of pull them out and extend it out more if you want to do so. But once again, pulling this joint out is more for the transformation, so just wanted to point that out as well. And time to time, depending on what pose you're doing, you might need to flap this part up so that you can have more space in terms of the arm bending as well. So bending the arm about 90 degrees is possible, no more than that as far as I can tell, but you can kind of extend forward. So this is not the double jointed bend, but it's just another joint here that's allowing it to move the entire arm upwards, because for the transformation there, you need to move the arm joint forward once more, so which is why that range of movement exists. And then the lower arm technically also has a nice 360 twist, but very stiff. You can tell about that by my voice. And then let's get the hand here. The hand are sculpted pretty well. The basic, each individual finger moves together, but once again, right off the box, they're going to be moving together because that's just how stiff they are. But once again, you can technically move them individually, and you can detach the hand by a peg. So that's pretty good. And since we're here, let me get him on the ground. So here is the hand here. You can definitely tell each finger is supposed to move individually, but right off the box they're always going to be like mushed together. They've been stuck together all the time, so which is why it may look like that, but they are moving individually. You can see these fingers are separated individually, so yeah. And you might be wondering, why is this on a peg joint, not on a ball joint? The reason is that one way to attach the weapon is like this. You're supposed to be able to slap on the cannon onto the hand like this, as far as I can tell. Yeah, and it is supposed to go sideways like this, but if you want, again, depending on your preference, you can do it like this if you want to do so. And since you have the cannon on here, you can also attach the effect part if you want to do so. And since I'm here with the cannon, let's just mention another way. The third one, which is obvious but not really shown in the promo pictures, is you can slap it onto the body if you want to do so, but not really ideal because it's technically going to be facing lower, or it's not the best connection here. You can see it's barely connected there, so not ideal. So I'm going to put this downwards. Or the other one is this, which I prefer, is to attach it onto the shoulder or back, on the back. Technically, there is actually a slot here on the back section, not on this side, but on this side. So you can actually just plug this thing in here. It's supposed to be a perfect fit, and it actually has a pretty good tight connection, and you have it on the shoulder, which is the way I like to prefer my like the cannon. I do prefer this position as well. So let me just get that out just for reference, and let's continue on without the hand because I'm too lazy to reattach it. All right, now let's get the legs. Uh-oh. Sorry about that. I accidentally touched the part of the camera which I'm not supposed to. All right, so let's see what we got here. So we have the front skirt armors that can move forward. The way how they're connected is technically a ball joint, but they are pretty tight, so do be careful. Now and then, let me just move the arm there, and then we have the back skirt going on here that can move, once again, connected to a ball joint, so which allows us to get some more freedom. Now there is technically a side skirt, but the way how the side skirt works is slightly different, so I'm not going to go into too detail on that aspect. So, and then, ooh, that's tight. So there's no ratchet joints, but you can go forward, but less than 90 degrees, because mostly there are certain parts blocking the way to go even more, and going backwards is also possible. A little bit tight there, and then you do have the nice spread going on here. So Jobby would be happy about this one. So you got a nice, beautiful spread. And let me just get this thing downwards, because I feel like one of the tricky parts with these type of figures is always the skirt parts break easily because of the ball joint. So yeah. Now, bend wise, you do have a bend, about 90 degrees bend, with a very squeaky, hard noise. Ow, that hurts my ear. And then finally we have the leg or feet. So we have a very nice pivot joint that can go all the way outwards, but once again, this is more for the transformation, and inwards not as much, but I think that should be enough going on here. And then the feet can rotate 360 as well. And then on the back section, they do have these extra back stand support parts, so you should have no problem in terms of balancing this guy at all times. Alright, so we've seen the basics of the figure. I say they did a really good job in terms of design and engineering going on here. I think they were more focused on the robot. That I can definitely tell that for sure. So yeah, and there's only one thing left to show, and that is the axe. So here we have the axe going on here. Yeah, it's kind of odd that this is a German style design, German soldier style or officer, and that it has a weapon, an axe for a weapon, or I don't know, maybe they did use axes back then. But yeah, so as you can see there, the interesting part here, other than this being another cannon barrel, you can see there is no peg. Now usually for a figure like this, on the weapons you would see like a peg or maybe a hole to connect to the hands. The odd part is that there is no such thing, so you're just gonna have to rely on the actual grip on this. And then finally, you might have noticed these flame parts, and you might be wondering what these are. These are supposed to be effect parts for the axe. So basically this is a flaming axe. So the effect parts actually each side connect into a different port on the axe. So yeah, now you have a flaming axe, or I don't know, maybe a flaming hammer if you want to go for it. But once again, I'll be right back with the final demonstration, and we will end it off there. Okay, I'm back. So here we have the final demonstration here. So once again, I have the axe in the hand. However, because there is no peg or hole to actually connect to the actual hand itself, you can see this is actually pretty heavy, because it's actually, as far as I can tell, some part is actually, it's just in general pretty heavy. I'm seeing some parts is actually made out of metal, so which is why it's pretty heavy. And with the added weight on the effect parts, every time you try to grab it with the flame parts, as much as you want to have a tight grip, it's gonna eventually fall down like that. So yeah, that is a little bit downside. But even without the flame effect parts, let me just actually get this out of the way real quick. So you can actually detach these parts here. You can see each flame effect. One side will be connecting this hole, the other one will be connecting this and this. So even without the flame effect parts, I believe it should be a little bit better, because once again, you do have a better weight ratio going on here. So without the flame effect parts, it works. However, it's just gonna get that awkward feeling going on here, because I feel like with this design, the flame effect parts are kind of like needed at this point. But other than that, then again, I feel like the axe is just like a small extra bonus in terms of design. Once again, I think overall in terms of design, they really aced on the German tank officer zombie face vibe going on here. So once again, I'm very satisfied with my purchase going on here. Although for those who are a little bit too serious on their figures, do be aware about this machine gun barrel for the tank, because I feel like that is the most easiest parts to break, because mine came in broken. But I'm not gonna be complaining, because I didn't even know that until recently. Anyway, thanks for watching for the review. This was the review of the Metal Souls Tiger Tank YW-2412. Yeah, it's very hard to remember that that name. But yeah, if you guys got any questions or requests in your comment below, I still have more stuff to buy and build and make reviews out. So please stay tuned. Until then, see you guys next time.